Heading into week 14 of the NFL season, we have a pretty good idea of most of these teams, or at least I do. I think I have a pretty good vibe on these teams. I won't point any fingers, but Sunday Night Football is what made me want to. You know what? We'll start with that. The Broncos are such pretenders. They're such pretenders that they made me come out of a year-long YouTube hiatus. That's how bad not bad, okay, I won't say bad, but that's how overrated I think this Broncos team is. I do not think we'll get, you know what, I'll sneak them back down here, and then I'll talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to be ranking these teams pretenders, contenders. I think there's some in-betweens. Not everything's black and white, right? So I'm going to go with a little bit of the gray also, get some gray shades in there. But yeah, tiers, you can see them, contenders. And then we have the deep playoff tier, which I think teams that can still make a deep playoff run, even make the Super Bowl, but that I'm not going to put in contenders, at least not now. Pretenders, again, teams like the Broncos that I'll just, I'll put them in there, but we'll talk about them. And then this next tier, let's make the playoffs first, is teams that could make a little splash, a little splishy splash in the playoffs. It's possible, but let's get there first, and then we'll worry about the playoffs. Let's actually get to the playoffs before thinking or anything, right? And then there's teams I think that aren't gonna make the playoffs, but are worth talking about. I think there's teams that flat out fucking suck, and, excuse my language, that flat out suck. Teams I don't even think we really need to discuss. So let's take those out, the teams I think that aren't worth talking about. The Saints are not worth talking about. Raiders are not worth talking about. If we're going to talk about the Raiders, we can talk about Chip Kelly. That whole, fiasco. What a terrible situation that was. I mean, highest paid offensive coordinator, and now he's on the couch like me. Other teams that I don't, Browns. I do want to talk about the Browns, but Shadur. I just want to talk about Shadur. The way this head coaching staff has handled Shadur Sanders is a travesty. But you don't treat a rookie quarterback like that. And I'm just talking about he was not getting reps in practice, right? His first game with a full week starting, what happens? They win. And I know they lost last week, but they played the 49ers, and we'll also talk about the 49ers later, right? But they played a better football team. Shadur shouldn't have won that game. They're a terrible organization, terrible roster. Just literally from the core of it, it's just a bad organization. The Raiders and the Browns are the worst organizations, and we'll just put the Titans in there. If you're a quarterback, these are the four teams. I won't put the Saints in this conversation. I do not think the Saints are anything, right? But we won't talk about the Saints like that. We'll also put the Jets in there, right? If you're drafted to these organizations as a quarterback, you are basically fucked. Basically fucked. Because they are rotten to the core. The Bengals are also in this tier of organizations just from a general management standpoint, right? But Joe Burrow is so good, in my opinion, that he was able to overcome that. And it's rare you're going to find a Joe Burrow, right? Shadur's not Joe Burrow, so he's going to have trouble here. I think if you get drafted as a quarterback to any of these organizations, you're pretty much fucked from the start. It's like, look at Cam Ward. He is a talented quarterback. Was he as talented as Joe Burrow? Absolutely not. But he's talented enough to be the first overall pick. And they're making him look like he's JUCO. But not because of him. He is making great throws. The offensive line sucks. There is no running game. The receiver, his number one receiver is Alec Ianamore. I mean, what do you want from Cam Ward? And I think you could say this. Okay, Justin Fields and the Jets. I feel bad for Justin Fields, but I feel bad for any quarterback that goes here. It's just not a good organization. It's just not. At some point, a quarterback cannot overcome this level of incompetency from above. You can't overcome that. You're just screwed. That's why Patrick Mahomes was lucky to be drafted to the Chiefs. If Patrick Mahomes got drafted to the Titans, who the fuck knows? I'm not saying because the Titans when he got drafted were pretty good, right? And then they went to the AFC Championship game and then blew everything up. But I'm just saying, I think the Panthers are a tier above this level of organization. And that's why Bryce Young is somewhat improving. Because they brought in Dave Canales hire was amazing. We'll get back into line. Perfect. Let's talk about the Broncos. The Broncos, I was talking to my dad about this literally right before the game. I predicted the entire game. I said, the Broncos are going to win this game. But it is going to be close, and it will go down to the wire. I didn't know it was going to go down to a 2-point conversion. If I'm Dan Quinn there, I'm kicking the extra point. I'm going to overtime against a 9-2 football team. you don't go for, in my opinion, you don't go for two. You kick the extra point and you play another quarter of football, basically. You play a new game. But I understand the rationale. They have the win over the Chiefs, but so do the Cowboys. You know, are we going to talk about the Cowboys on the same level as the Broncos? I know the Broncos beat them, but this Broncos, okay, we'll talk about the Cowboys later too. I'm also a Cowboys fan. We'll talk about them later, but I'm a realistic Cowboys fan, I think. But this Broncos team is the definition of a team. There's no good wins. I'll rephrase this. They are not putting away games that need to be put away. They are going to the wire against terrible football teams and going down to, like, these are not games that should be going down the wire. They are not winning games like they need to. Sometimes it's not about a win, but it's about how you win. Are we going to say the Broncos are a better football team because they beat the Commanders by 1 point? No, in my opinion, this dropped their stock. I mean, this team is a complete pretender. There is a 0% chance they go to the Super Bowl. I mean, 0. I promise you. Bo Nix will not go to the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen this year. This is not a great football team. This is a team that's getting wins, I understand, but not in the way you want. I don't know. I'm not a believer in this Broncos team at all. At all. It's an impressive record, but it's not an impressive team, in my opinion. I know I sound like a hater, but they have a great defense. The offense is okay. I mean, it really is okay. Bo Nix, RJ Harvey, Cortland Sutton, Troy, that's okay. Evan Ingram, that's okay. That's not enough to win a Super Bowl. If you're going to tell me that offense is enough to win a Super Bowl, you're going to tell me Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin are good enough to be wide receiver 1 and 2 on a Super Bowl winning team? Let's not be stupid here. We'll move on. The Dolphins, I think they're worth mentioning. They have no, they don't. I don't know. Dolphins are weird. Dolphins are super weird in my opinion. I like their offense. They have a very competitive, I don't know. I really don't know. What's their record before I don't want to... Dolphins. I know. Wait, where am I looking at? Beat Commanders, beat the Saints, did they beat... they can win out, I guess, but again, nothing's gonna happen. I don't even know if they're even... I don't know. Honestly, they're not going to do shit. Are we going to think they're going to do shit? Are they going to make the playoffs? They could if they win out. Perhaps. Maybe. But it's not like they're going to do shit. The Dolphins going to get, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. They're close. They're not worth mentioning. They're close. We'll go to the Giants. I think the firing of Brian Daboll was not the right move. I think you go into next season with him a full season. Imagine a Jackson Dart playing a full NFL season and then going in the offseason with Brian Daboll. It would have been scary. I think it would have... Brian Daboll is the same guy who brought up Josh Allen. Brian Daboll has a playoff win in New York. It's just not a good football team. But Brian Daboll is not... It's the ownership. It's not Brian Daboll. It's just not a good football team. They have a good D-line, a good front seven. Malik Neighbors gets hurt. How is that Brian Daboll's fault? How is that Brian Daboll? In my opinion, that's a terrible firing. Terrible firing. He's a great offensive coach. He's going to go somewhere and be successful. And Jackson Dart had a good relationship with this guy. Why are you doing this to your future franchise quarterback? This is what I mean with organizations that make no sense. It's just a bad move. A bad move. I think that's the only thing we're talking about. The Brian Daboll firing. Bad move, in my opinion. And then Jackson Dart also needs to stop taking so many fucking hits. At some point, you have to beat Jerry Rice and go out of bounds. You don't need the 2 extra yards. Did you see him with John Gruden? I fight for those 2 extra yards. Okay, those 2 extra yards are going to take you out for the season. You want 2 yards? You want to play, I guess it's 17 weeks, but... It was 18 weeks, 17 games. I almost said 16. Ravens are let's make the playoffs first. They only put up 14 points against a terrible Bengals defense. Only put up 14, losing 35-14. The defense can't stop shit. Actually, but they are the Ravens. There were some calls like the Zay Flowers push-off that was bullshit. That's a bullshit call. It just is. And Lamar lost a lot of confidence after plays like that. So I think Lamar just needs to get his head out of his ass. But I do think this team still has a shot. But there's just, with the Steelers flailing around and fumbling everything, the Browns aren't anything. The next closest team is the Bengals, and I guess, right? Same thing with the Dolphins, except I think the Bengals have Joe Burrow. I think that's the only difference between the Bengals and the Dolphins, is that Joe Burrow is not Tua. Because with Joe Burrow, I think they're in every single football game. I think Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback. So I think if the Bengals win out, sure, maybe, right? With how bad the AFC North looks. Let's get there first, guys. Ravens playing like shit. Steelers playing like shit. Bengals play. I mean, let's just put them all together. They all fucking, like, they're not gonna do shit. Steelers make the playoffs. They will do nothing. I would rather play the Steelers than the Ravens or the Bengals in the playoffs. Joe Burrow in the playoffs? Joe Burr? I don't know. And then Lamar, I don't want to play Lamar. Lamar in the playoffs is pretty bad. I would have the Ravens above the Steelers, in my opinion. Honestly, I would go like this, but it's disrespectful to the Steelers if I do that about the Bengals. That'd just be bad. Okay, this team. Oh my God, man. Sam Darnold should have stayed. So many quarterbacks wanted to come. Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold. Who else? Who gives a fuck? But they chose JJ McCarthy. And hindsight's 2020, but I was never a JJ McCarthy believer. Can we just the common sense of it is they handed the ball off 40 times a game. He threw it 10 times a game. How is that an NFL quarterback? He was a glorified handoff. Like, he was just a chain to get to the right. They could have direct snapped and had the same amount of success. They could have direct snapped and then threw it every now and then. I don't understand what they were thinking choosing JJ McCarthy. I really don't. Kevin O'Connell's a talented coach, but I don't. That was always a bizarre. And I can't really, because it's popular to hate on JJ McCarthy now. And he had that great fourth quarter. But man, 9, I don't think 9's the answer. I really don't. I mean, I just don't. I think the Rams are contenders even after loss to the Panthers. You know, the Panthers have beat some teams, okay? If the Panthers get hot, I'm not saying anything, but the Panthers are not a garbage team. Like, they're not a they're a pretty decent, I mean, the record shows that. This is a team the Rams should have beat. The Rams should have won this game. No excuses. But the Panthers are not, down here anymore. They're just not down here. They're not down there anymore. But this offense is just too good. The defense is also very good. Let's not forget about Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk. I mean, this is a great defense too. Great defensive coordinator as well. Future head coach Sean McVay's coaching tree is just expanding. The offense is unbelievable. And then Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford playing MVP level football. He had a bad game against the Panthers, I understand, but we're gonna try to have the memory of a goldfish for these top teams. One loss that shouldn't have been a loss is not, something you can't come over. In some cases, it brings the team closer together. I mean, we'll talk about the Cowboys next. I'll bring up the Cowboys. Losing games that they shouldn't have lost was a big wake-up call. Big wake-up call. Specifically, the Panthers game, the Bears game, the Eagles game, games they all should have won. They all should have won, right? Broncos game, they just fucking sucked. I mean, they just sucked. Flat out sucked. But they lost. They went on bye. Got the Quinnen. Got the Kenny. Got the Logan. Got the Overshown. Got the Savone Revel. I mean, this team is playing hot, and I am a Cowboys fan, so I'll put that out there first. But this team is as hot as any team in football, and you know that. But I will temper my expectations. Is that what it is? They need to make the playoffs first. There are so many teams ahead of them, standings-wise. I mean, now that the Panthers won, that's one, or like a competitor. Bucks, Lions, Bears, 49ers, Eagles, Packers, Washington, no. Cardinals, no. Seahawks, yes. That is a lot of teams, and all of them can't make the playoffs. And it just sucks. That tie, that could have been a win against the Packers. That would have been a big win. It could have been a big win week 1 against the Eagles for our divisional and conference record. And again, this is where the Panthers lost and the Bears lost really are like, they hurt, because if we have those 2 wins, we're looking good if we have those 2 wins. But right now, this team's peaking. I mean, this is a good problem to have. They're peaking at the right time. Let's just ride this to the end of the season, see what happens. We can only control what we can control, right? So it's not like, don't worry about the playoffs right now, because there's so many teams that need to lose. And the season will take its course. So we can't control that. But if we just beat the teams ahead of us, we'll see. Big game against the Lions. Bucks, let's make the playoffs first, Bucks. Let's make the playoffs first. The Panthers are hot on your fucking tail. We'll just put the Panthers right here also. I don't know who's going to win the South. We know it's not the Saints. We know it's not the Saints. Who the fuck is the other team in the South? Oh, yeah, the Falcons. That's how bad the fucking Falcons are. Falcons are not worth we know what? Let me fix this. Dolphins are not worth mentioning. I think these two are worth mentioning. But that's not saying that the Giants are, better. They're all bad, but I just want to talk about them. These are all bad teams, okay? But back to the Bucks. Let's win the division first. Falcons aren't. Saints aren't. So it's Bucks versus Panthers, really. Do they play? Oh, they both games haven't happened yet. Holy shit. See, I don't know how much I like that. I know other teams do it too. I know the Bears and Packers are doing it. I don't really like the 2 games in 3 weeks type of thing. I want one in week 5, another week 13. Let's get you at the start of the season and the end of the season. We don't need you just at the end, but I don't really like that scheduling. It's not a big deal. It really isn't, but it's just something that kind of I'm like, why does it have to be like that? Why? Either team could make it. This is an injury-riddled Bucks team. If the team was healthy, they're a deep playoff potential, but they're not a healthy team right now. Lions. I think the Lions are make playoffs first. Let's make the playoffs first. We're not even we don't even know. The Packers are ahead of you right now. Bears are first seed. This game against the Cowboys is big, and I do think the Cowboys are going to win. I think the Cowboys are going to win on Thursday. Amon-Ra St. Brown's hurt. I think that Jared Goff under pressure is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. If you look at him, his stats under pressure, they are atrocious. Atrocious. Flip side of that, Dak's one of the best quarterbacks against pressure. So we can pressure Jared Goff. It should be a pretty good game. Just watch Jameson Williams and watch Gibbs. They don't even have Sam Laporta. This is an injury-riddled team. Cowboys, this is a game that the Cowboys should win. I think there should be favorites, because they're getting hot at the right time, and the Lions are getting unhealthy. And was it Dan Skipper that had the fucking hamstring and he was coming back? Or who the fuck was that? He was like, oh, I'm coming back, and then nothing happened. This Bears team is super confusing. Super. Because they're the first seed in the NFC, right? I understand that. And Ben Johnson is a fantastic coach. Let me preface that. Ben Johnson's a great coach. Defense is good, too. I don't know. Are they going to be able to run? If they can run the ball like this in the playoffs, they have deep playoff potential. Deep. If they can run it like this every single game. The question is, can they win every game? And if they can't run, can they win games in which Caleb has to pass? The defense knows you're passing. Can Caleb win games like that? I think Ben Johnson can coach games that can win like that. Can this team get to that level of play? Because we haven't seen them play at that level, so I don't know what to say. I guess we could say something about Bo Nix, but I just don't believe in this team. I think but I also don't think the Bears are gonna make the Super Bowl. I realistically, I don't. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. But it's just the way that people talk with the Broncos like they're the shit. They're not the shit. They're not. I don't think the Bears are the shit, but I think the Bears. I don't know. The NFC is wide open this year. Wide open. AFC is too. Any team. This is going to be a crazy playoffs in my opinion. I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. I do think they have make the playoffs. Make the Super Bowl. But they have potential to at least go to the divisional round. If they don't hold on to the first seed. If they hold on to the first seed, can they make the NFC Championship game? We'll see. They get it at home, and they just have to win one game. And they've been winning a lot of games, so I'm just a big Broncos hater. Ooh, this 49ers team. They're too injured. They're just too injured. They will not go. They don't have deep playoff potential. Their defense is just too injured. But without Bosa and Fred Warner, I just don't think this team has the peaks. The offense is running McCaffrey in the ground, which by all means, go ahead. I have him in fantasy football. Run him into the ground. But I don't know how much I believe in this team. I think the Eagles are super weird. First, I don't even know why these teams are still here. Not worth mentioning. You know what? Worth mentioning. I don't know what they're going to do with Kyler. Don't know what the fuck they're going to do with Kyler. No idea. Seems like they prefer Jacoby Brissett. And if your first overall pick I don't know. I think Kyler needs to go. There's all these football teams aside from the Commanders and the Falcons, I guess. And I guess you want to say Tua. They all need a quarterback. I don't know. Something to look out for. Let's go Eagles. This is tough. I know. First of all, let me preface by saying the Eagles fans are disgusting humans. I mean, literally the scum of the earth. Terrible humans. Awful. Awful humans. Terrible people. They're throwing rocks at their offensive coordinator's house. I mean, what the hell? You can't do that. That's not cool. First of all, that's a crime, which I guess all Eagles fans are used to, committing crimes. I still think they have deep playoff potential. After all that, I still think the defense is good, right? And I understand the offense, but I think this offense is so super powered that they can pretty much overcome. I mean, just from a positional group and the offensive line, it's probably the most complete offensive unit in the game. However, I understand they're having trouble, and Sirianni's like, oh, no, we're not going to change things. Well, by all means, don't change anything. I love the way you're playing. But I still think just they're the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl last year. I still think they have potential. And I think it'd be stupid to say if they don't. I think the Packers have more potential than the Bears. I think this Packers team is arguably the most complete team in football aside from the Rams. Their offense, besides the receiving group, they don't really have like an alpha receiver, but they just have so much production from so many people that they don't really need it. They don't really have an alpha, right? Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, what's his name isn't doing shit. Golden isn't doing shit. But there's just so much to go around. The Tucker Kraft injury hurts. It hurts. Josh Jacobs hasn't really done much in the past couple weeks, but 10 days removed from injuring himself against the Browns. I think he's healthy now, closer to 100% than he ever has been. I say ever has been than last week. I think this team is more complete than the Bears, and I think that their scheme is better than the Eagles. So I do think they have more potential than both. I think the Bills have also deep playoff potential. Deep playoff potential. I think when you have Josh Allen, you can really do anything. They're still in the wild card, I know, but I just don't see them not making the playoffs. I really don't. And I don't know what much is there to talk about with them. I think they're a good football team. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they're going to have to play away. But I think Josh Allen away in the playoffs is a quarterback 1.5. So I think that kind of like takes away any home field advantage a little bit. So let's just make the playoffs and then we'll see. But they have potential. We'll see what the seeding is, but they definitely have the deep playoff potential. The Seahawks are another confusing team. Unlike the Broncos, they win games that need to be won. Unlike the Broncos. You know what? I'll put the Seahawks down here. Whoa, I don't know now. I don't see the Seahawks in the Super Bowl at all. And I don't see the Bears in the Super Bowl at all. But I guess that's okay. Seahawks are not going to make the Super Bowl. Let's just be flat out. They're not going to make it. Great coaching with Mike McDaniel. Great quarterback play with Sam Darnold. The defense is great also. Great team. Great team that won't make the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. I promise you it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Close your eyes and envision Sam Darnold holding up the Lombardi in a Seahawks jersey. It's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not the Legion of Boom defense. It's a good, great defense, not a fantastic defense. I will say, though, they are, unlike the Broncos, they are winning games that in ways that they need to win. You know what? I don't know. I just don't like the Broncos. Just don't like them. Patriots. Ooh, this is hard for me. First of all, why the Bills here? I put the Bills there. So right now, this is the two Super Bowl favorites. And I think that, with the two MVPs front runners right now, these are probably the two. I just want to see Drake make the playoffs first. It's just hard to talk about these players that have zero playoff experience. It's easy to talk about the Packers, the Bills, the Eagles, because we know what these teams can do in the playoffs. It's hard to talk about a team that's 10-2. It's hard to put them in contenders when we just don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Wait, did I say Mike McDaniel for the Seahawks? Is that Mike McDaniel? That's Mike McDonald. Mike McDaniel is the OC. Mix them up. Mike McDonald. Something McDonald, whatever. McDaniel's for the Patriots. But they're just so greatly coached. Mike Vrabel, he's just such a good head coach. Look at the Titans. Look, we'll put him back here. Look how bad the Titans are that fired him. And he's up here with this team. So was it Vrabel or was he a shitty organization? Perfect example of a great organization. Drake May and the Patriots. Great organization from top to bottom. Just because you have some off years does not make you a bad organization. We just see we see it right now. These teams suck. They're not greatly owned. Like the management's awful. It really starts at a management level for these teams. It's just hard for me to talk about the Patriots because there's no experience. But just from this season, they're looking like a legit football team. So I kind of want to put them in deep playoff potential. But I truly am iffy about them because we just don't know. They're playing great football, we'll say that. But we don't know. We haven't seen them. We haven't seen them in the playoffs. But Drake May's playing fantastic. Texans pretenders, they're not going to do shit. Not going to do shit. Not going to do shit. They're not going to do shit. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and Woody Marks is going to make the Super Bowl. Is that what we're saying now? What? I mean, let's go down to here. Let's make the playoffs first. And I'd put below the Lions. Honestly, I'd put them like right here. I lied. This defense is great. The defense is fantastic. I mean, they're not going to do shit. They're just not going to do shit. I swear to you, they're not going to do shit. They're not. They're not going to do shit. Like, CJ Stroud, Woody Marks, Nico Collins. The defense is great. The offense, what? Dalton Schultz? I don't understand. What are we talking about here? They're not, I really don't know what to say. It's laughable. They're not good. Nothing's going to happen. Kansas City. Okay, I'll do the Chargers too. Let's make the playoffs first. I'll put the Texans up. You know what? I'll do this. I don't know. Chargers suck ass, I think. Too many injuries. I feel bad. Too many injuries. Herbert just got surgery. Lost both of your all-pro tackles. You're just getting Hampton back. Let's make the playoffs first, guys. Kansas City, I think, is a better football team than the Chargers. But again, they need to make the playoffs first. But if they make the playoffs, they can dance. They can dance in the playoffs just like any other team. But let's make the playoffs first. The Colts, see, this is so tough for me because I think they have deep playoff potential when they're healthy. However, Daniel Jones is not healthy. I mean, it comes to a point, do you start Anthony Richardson? He has a broken fucking femur. Where the fuck? His leg is fractured. It's hard to play quarterback with a fractured leg, with one leg. If you've seen the practice footage, he does not look comfortable. Now, granted, he made some big time throws, especially to Alec Pierce. If Jonathan Taylor can get back to the start of the year, he's kind of, I'm not gonna say he's fallen off. It's just that defenses are probably planning for him a lot more because they saw how much he was getting used. But if they can go back to the Jonathan Taylor usage they had at the start of the year, it'll be interesting. But I don't know. I don't think, and then Gardner's hurt after that big trade. It's tough. You know, this team blew a fucking 7-1 lead on the division to a Texans team that started 0-3. And then this Jaguars team is super interesting. I think that they're going to I want them to make the playoffs. I really do. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs, but I would love to see him in the playoffs. I love Liam Cohen. I liked him when he was at Tampa Bay. It was a great coaching hire. Great for Trevor Lawrence. They have a pretty good backfield, I think. I like Bashal Tuin, and then I also like Travis Etienne. And they just traded for Jacoby Myers, and Brandon Strange is playing good. They gained Brian Thomas back from injury. The defense is pretty good. This is a pretty good football team. Are they going to do anything? I highly doubt it. I mean, they're tied with the Colts. And listen, the Colts can be down here. I don't know. I don't care. But I've seen them at their peak. They play great football at their peak. You can't tell me that at their peak, the Colts aren't better than the Jaguars. You can't tell me that. So I'm going to put the Colts up here. But they need to get healthy. But yeah, this is my list. I think isn't that crazy? I think the only contender is probably the Rams. I think that's the only contender. I think everyone else, I think this year's wide open. And I'm excited to watch the playoffs. A little bit of a longer video, first video back, but I'm here to stay. All right, have a rest of the, almost rhymed. Have a rest of the good day. That's what I was going to say. Have a good rest of your day. That's what I was trying to say.